Welcome to Story Tales. Please like this video and subscribe to Story Tales. I hope you enjoy the story. Let's begin. The trauma bay doors burst open at 11:47 p.m. Landon Pierce glanced up from the chart he was reviewing, his pen still hovering over the signature line. Two gurneys rolled in simultaneously, EMTs shouting vitals over the chaos of beeping monitors and squeaking wheels. Female, 34, unresponsive. BP 70 over 40. Respiratory rate 6 per minute. Male, 32, same presentation. Found together at the Cascade Motel on Powell Boulevard. Landon stepped forward, already calculating. Overdose. Likely opioids mixed with sedatives. Standard protocol. He'd run this drill 100 times. Gimme Narcan, 2 milligrams 4 push for both patients. CBC, metabolic panel, tox screen. Let's move. The first gurney rolled past him. Landon caught a glimpse of dark hair matted against pale skin, a floral dress twisted around thin legs. His hand froze mid-reach for the stethoscope. The triage nurse, Kelly, grabbed his arm. Her fingers dug in hard enough to hurt. Dr. Pierce. Her voice cracked. You need to step back. What are you talking about? We have 2 critical patients, Landon. She never used his first name on shift. It's your wife and your brother. The words hit him, but they didn't make sense. Not right away. His brain tried to process them like data points that didn't fit the pattern. Rhea was supposed to be at her office. Late meeting. She texted him at 6. Asher lived across town. They hadn't spoken in weeks. Move aside. Dr. Myra Caldwell's voice cut through the fog. She appeared at his elbow, her expression set in that careful neutral mask she wore during family notifications. Kelly, take him to the break room. I'm the attending, not on this case. Myra's hand landed on his shoulder, firm. You know the protocol. Dr. Torres will handle it. Nadia Torres was already at the first gurney, barking orders. She looked over at him once, her dark eyes wide, before turning back to her work. Landon let Kelly pull him backward. His feet moved on their own. Around him, the trauma bay erupted into controlled chaos. Nurses cutting away clothing, IVs being inserted, monitors chirping to life on the second gurney. He saw Asher's face. His brother's head lolled to one side, mouth slack, skin gray. The break room door closed behind him. Kelly stood there, hands pressed together. I'm so sorry. Do you want me to call anyone? What happened? His voice sounded distant, like it belonged to someone else. They were found unconscious in a motel room. Pills, alcohol. The police are still on scene. Together? They were together. Kelly nodded. Alone. Another nod. Landon sat down in the plastic chair by the coffee machine. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead, too bright, too harsh. Through the small window in the door, he could see the trauma bay. Nadia was intubating Rhea. Someone else, Dr. Kim, maybe worked on Asher, his wife. His brother, in a motel room. Alone. I'll get you some water, Kelly said, and disappeared. Landon stared at his hands. They weren't shaking. They should be shaking. Shouldn't they? His phone buzzed in his pocket. A text from Rhea, sent 3 hours ago. Working late again. Don't wait up that he read it twice. Then he put the phone face down on the table. Time moved strangely after that. Myra came in at some point, told him they'd stabilized both patients. Narcan had worked. They'd be okay, physically at least. They're asking for you, she said. Both of them. Are the police here? In the hallway. They want to talk to you when you're ready. I'm ready now. Officer Clay Renner was in his 40s, with tired eyes and a patient manner. He stood outside the break room with his notebook already open. Dr. Pierce, I'm sorry about your family. I know this is difficult. What did you find at the scene? Renner glanced at his notes. The motel manager called it in around 9:30 p.m. Your wife and brother were found unresponsive in room 214. The door was locked from inside. There was alcohol, vodka, mostly empty bottle. Prescription sedatives scattered on the nightstand. Some personal items. What kind of personal items? Renner's jaw tightened slightly. Clothing. Phones. A camera. A camera. Yes, sir. We're processing everything now. But I need to ask you some questions. When was the last time you spoke to your wife? This morning. Before my shift. And your brother? 3 weeks ago. Maybe 4. Were they close? Landon met the officer's eyes. Not that I knew of. Renner wrote something down. The room was registered under your brother's name. Paid cash. You checked in at 4 p.m. For hours before Rhea texted about working late. Dr. Pierce, is there anything you can tell me about their relationship? Any reason they'd be meeting? No. Any marital problems between you and your wife? Nothing she mentioned. Renner nodded slowly. We'll need to keep their phones as evidence. Standard procedure for this type of call. You'll get them back eventually. Evidence of what? You said it was an overdose. It was, but we need to rule out other factors. Make sure it was accidental. He paused. Is there anyone we should call for you? No. After Renner left, Landon sat in the break room for another hour. Through the window, he watched the staff work. Rhea was moved to the ICU. Asher went to a different floor. 8:02 a.m., Myra came back. You should go home, she said. Get some rest. They're stable. We'll call if anything changes. I want to see them. Landon, I need to see them. She studied his face for a long moment. 5 minutes. That's all I can give you. Rhea's room was quiet except for the ventilator's rhythmic hiss. She lay still beneath white sheets, an endotracheal tube taped to her mouth, for lines snaking from both arms. Landon stood at the foot of the bed. Her purse sat on the chair by the window. Through the clear plastic bag marked patient belongings, he could see her phone, wallet, lipstick, a room key card with the Cascade Motel logo. He picked up the bag, held it, sat back down. Sir, a nurse appeared in the doorway. I'm sorry, but I know. 5 minutes. He looked at Rhea's face one more time. Even unconscious, even with a tube down her throat, she looked beautiful. That's what everyone always said about her. Beautiful Rhea. Charming Rhea. His wife, who was supposed to be at work. Landon turned and walked out. He didn't go to Asher's room. The house felt wrong when Landon got home at 3 a.m. Not wrong like something broken. Wrong like something had shifted, like furniture moved 3 inches to the left. Everything looked the same. Rhea's jacket on the coat rack, her shoes by the door, the kitchen clean except for his coffee mug from that morning. But it wasn't the same. It would never be the same again. Landon dropped his keys on the counter. He should eat, sleep, do something normal. Instead, he walked through each room, seeing it all through new eyes, their bedroom. The bed they'd shared for 6 years, still unmade from that morning. Rhea's nightstand with her book, her reading glasses, a half-empty water bottle, the bathroom, 2 toothbrushes in the holder. Her makeup scattered across the counter like always. The guest room that Asher had crashed in last Christmas when his apartment lease fell through. Everywhere, evidence of the life he thought he had. He ended up in the living room as dawn started to gray the windows. Rhea's tablet sat on the coffee table, plugged into its charger. Landon stared at it. The police had her phone. They'd said so, but the tablet synced to the same cloud account. If there was anything to find, it would be there too. He picked it up. Her password was his birthday. Had been since they got married. His fingers moved across the screen. 0-8-1-9-8-7. Unlocked. Her email loaded first. Work messages mostly. A few from friends. Nothing from Asher. He checked her texts. The last one to him was the lie about working late. Before that, grocery lists, reminders, normal things that he scrolled back further. Nothing from Asher in the messages either. Landon was about to set the tablet down when a notification popped up, cloud backup complete. 47 new files synced from Asher's iPhone. He stared at the message. Asher's iPhone. Synced to Rhea's tablet. Why would Asher's phone sync to her device? His hand moved before his brain caught up. He opened the cloud storage app. Went to the recently added files. Photos, mostly. Dozens of them. Timestamps from the past 3 months. The first one was innocent. Asher at a restaurant, smiling at the camera. The second showed him at what looked like a park. The third was Rhea. She was laughing at something off camera, her hair loose around her shoulders. Not the way she wore it at work. The way she wore it for him. Landon's thumb moved to the next photo. Rhea and Asher together. Her hand on his arm. Both of them smiling. Next photo. Rhea in a dress he recognized. The blue one she'd worn to her company party 2 months ago. The party he couldn't attend because of his shift. She was leaning against a car. Asher's car. Next. 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 The photos progressed like a timeline of secrets. Coffee shops. A hiking trail. Asher's apartment. And then videos. The first video, thumbnail, showed a dim room. Landon could make out a bed, a lamp with a red shade that he pressed play. Think he suspects. Ria's voice, slightly slurred. The camera moved, shaky, like someone holding a phone. It focused on Ria sitting on the edge of a bed. The motel room bed. Landon doesn't suspect anything. Asher's voice, off camera. He's too busy saving lives to notice his own life falling apart. Ria laughed. That laugh Landon knew so well. The one that had made him fall in love with her, a hospital fundraiser 7 years ago. We should stop, she said, but she was smiling. This is crazy. You don't want to stop. No, she agreed. I don't. The camera moved closer. Asher's hand entered the frame, reaching for her face. Landon stopped the video. His hands weren't shaking. His breath came steady and even. In the ER, he'd learned to function through shock, to keep moving when everything in him wanted to freeze. That he backed up the video file. Then the photos. All of them. He created a new folder, saved everything, and emailed it to his personal account. Then he uploaded it to 3 different cloud services. The sun rose fully while he worked, orange light spilling through the windows. When he finished, Landon looked at the screen, at his wife's face frozen in that thumbnail, smiling at his brother. You wanted to play games, he said to the empty room. So we'll play. Landon went back to work the next evening. Are you sure? Myra had asked on the phone. You could take leave. Family emergency qualifies. I'm sure. When he arrived at St. Alda Memorial, the staff watched him with careful eyes. They knew. Everyone knew. The hospital grapevine worked faster than any emergency protocol. Landon changed into his scrubs, pinned his ID badge to his chest, and walked onto the floor. Kelly approached first. How are you holding up? I'm fine. If you need anything, I'm fine, he repeated, and moved past her to check the board point. 2 patients in beds 3 and 7 needed discharge papers. Bed 12 had a possible appendicitis waiting for CT results. A kid in bed 2 had a broken arm from skateboarding. Normal. Manageable. Nothing he couldn't handle. Nadia found him an hour into the shift, reviewing labs on a computer. You shouldn't be here, she said quietly. I'm exactly where I should be. Your wife is still in the ICU. I'm aware. Landon. She moved closer, lowering her voice. Talk to me. He looked at her then. Nadia Torres had worked beside him for 3 years. She was sharp, observant, and one of the few people at the hospital he considered a friend. There's nothing to talk about. Bullshit. She crossed her arms. You're holding something heavy. I can see it. No, Landon said. I'm holding proof. Before she could respond, his phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. This is Officer Renner. Your wife was discharged from ICU this morning. Your brother checked himself out AMA 2 hours ago. Call me if you need anything. Discharged. Of course. Medically stable meant they could leave, even if nothing was actually okay. Another text came through, this time from Asher. We need to talk. Please. Landon deleted it without responding. What proof? Nadia asked that he close the computer screen. Not here. That night, after his shift ended, Landon drove to Asher's apartment building. He didn't go inside. He just sat in his car across the street and watched the lit window on the 3rd floor at 11 p.m. The light went out. Landon started his car and drove home. The next day, he did it again. And the day after that, Dottie watched. He waited. He documented everything. Ria called him 6 times over the next week. He didn't answer. She sent texts that progressed from apologetic to desperate to angry. Please let me explain. It's not what you think. We need to talk about this. You can't just ignore me. This is childish, Landon. Please, he read each one. Deleted none of them. Evidence. Asher showed up at the house on day 9. Landon watched through the front window as his brother pounded on the door. I know you're in there. Asher's voice carried through the wood. Come on, man. Open up. Landon sat on the couch, 20 feet away, and didn't move. Landon, please. It was a mistake. We were drunk. It didn't mean anything. After 15 minutes, Asher gave up and left. AT work. Landon was perfect. No mistakes. No emotional outbursts. He ran his shifts with the same calm efficiency he always had. Myra called him into her office at the end of the second week. "Sit down," she said. "He's Saturday. The board wants me to put you on administrative leave." "Why?" "Because your wife and brother nearly died from an overdose together in a motel room, and you're acting like nothing happened." "I'm doing my job." "You're doing it too well." "It's unsettling people." Landon met her eyes. "Would they prefer if I broke down, crying through things? Got drunk? They'd prefer if you showed some human emotion." "I'm a doctor. Emotion doesn't save lives." Myra leaned back in her chair. "What are you planning?" "I'm not planning anything." "You're lying." "I've known you for 8 years, Landon. I know when you're lying." He said nothing. She sighed. "Fine. You want to work through this? Work through it. But if it starts affecting patient care, it won't. Then we're having a different conversation." Landon stood. "Anything else?" "Yes. Whatever you're planning. Be smart about it." He paused at the door. "I'm always smart about it." That night, Landon went through the evidence again. The photos, the videos, the financial records he'd pulled from their joint account, transfers to Asher, always in round numbers. 300 here, 500 there. Over $8,000 in the past 6 months that he created spreadsheets. Timelines, cross-reference dates and locations, every meeting, every lie, every moment of his life that had been fiction at 8:02 a.m. He opened his laptop and started writing an email. Then he deleted it, wrote it again, deleted it again. Not yet. Timing mattered. Another text from Rhea came through. "I'm staying at my sister's. I can't do this anymore. Call me when you're ready to be an adult about this." Landon read it twice. Then he opened his banking app and transferred half of their savings account into a separate account in his name. Only 0.6 days later, Rhea filed a restraining order request. It was denied. He made no contact, no threats, no approaches. The judge threw it out in under 5 minutes. Her lawyer called him. "Mr. Pierce, my client would like to arrange a meeting to discuss separation terms." "I'm not interested in separating," Landon said. "Sir, given the circumstances, tell her I'll see her soon." He hung up. Nadia cornered him in the supply room during his next shift. "What's going on?" "Rhea's lawyer called the hospital asking about your work schedule. She's trying to serve me papers. Are you going to accept them?" "Eventually." He pulled out gauze pads from the cabinet. "When it's convenient for me." "Landon." Nadia blocked his path. "What are you doing?" "I told you. I'm holding proof." "Proof of what?" He looked at her for a long moment. Then he pulled out his phone, opened the cloud folder, and showed her the video thumbnail. Nadia's face went pale. "Oh my God. Yeah. How long have you known?" "Since the night it happened." "And you haven't done anything?" "Not yet." He took his phone back. "But I will." "Jesus, Landon, what are you planning?" "Justice," he said simply, and walked past her. About a month after the hospital call, Landon finally sent a text to both Rhea and Asher. "Dinner at the house. Saturday at 7 p.m. We need to talk." Rhea's response came immediately. "Finally. I'll be there." Asher took longer. "Okay. Thanks for giving me a chance to explain." Landon read their messages and smiled for the first time in 30 days. Not a happy smile. Not a sad one, just the smile of a man who knew exactly what came next. Landon spent Saturday morning cleaning the house. He vacuumed the carpets, wiped down surfaces, put fresh soap in the bathroom dispensers. He set the dining room table with their good plates, the white ones with gold trim that Rhea had insisted on registering for their wedding at 4 p.m. He went grocery shopping. Salmon, asparagus, baby potatoes, ingredients for Caesar salad. A bottle of Rhea's favorite white wine, the expensive kind she saved for special occasions. He cooked methodically, following recipes he'd memorized over years of quiet Sunday dinners together. The salmon came out perfect, the skin crispy, the flesh tender. He roasted the asparagus with garlic and lemon. The potatoes were golden and soft. By 6:45 p.m., everything was ready. The table was set. The food was plated. Wine glasses waited, empty and gleaming under the chandelier. In the living room, his laptop sat on the coffee table, already connected to the TV via HDMI cable. The screen was dark, but the file was queued up, ready to play. Landon stood in the kitchen and straightened his collar. He dressed carefully, button-down shirt, slacks, no tie. The way he used to dress for date nights. The doorbell rang at 6:58 p.m. He opened it to find Rhea standing on the porch, her arms crossed against the evening chill. She lost weight. Her cheekbones were more prominent, shadows under her eyes that makeup didn't quite hide. "Hi," she said. "Come in." She stepped inside, moving past him with the hesitance of a stranger in a familiar place. "It smells good. Salmon. Your favorite." "Landon. Let's wait until Asher gets here." She nodded and moved into the living room. She sat on the edge of the couch, hands folded in her lap, not looking at him. Asher arrived 3 minutes late. Landon opened the door. His brother looked worse than Rhea. Rumpled shirt, unshaven, eyes red-rimmed and anxious. "Hey," Asher said. I'm glad you come in." They gathered in the dining room, the three of them, like some twisted parody of family dinner. Landon took his usual seat at the head of the table. Rhea sat to his left, Asher to his right, in one move to serve themselves. "Why?" Landon asked. "I don't think." Rhea started. He poured anyway, filling all 3 glasses with steady hands. Set the bottle down, picked up his own glass. "To honesty," he said, and took a sip. Neither of them touched their wine. Landon set his glass down and began serving food onto his plate. Salmon, asparagus, potatoes. Normal portions. He cut into the fish, took a bite, chewed slowly. "This is insane," Rhea said finally. "You ignore us for a month, and then invite us to dinner like nothing happened." "Something happened." Landon took another bite. "Don't do that. Don't be passive-aggressive. I'm not being anything. I'm having dinner." He looked at Asher. "You're not eating." "I'm not hungry." Asher's leg bounced under the table. "Look, man, I need to say something. What happened at the motel, it was a huge mistake. We were drunk. We weren't thinking. Where'd you get the pills?" Asher blinked. "What?" "The sedatives. Where'd you get them?" I don't remember. Someone at a party. Maybe. You took pills from a stranger at a party and then mixed them with vodka? We weren't trying to overdose, if that's what you're asking." Rhea's voice had an edge now. "It was an accident. A terrible accident. In a motel room." Landon cut another piece of salmon. "That you checked into at 4 p.m. We needed to talk," Asher said. "Somewhere private." "About what?" Silence. Landon ate another bite. Took a sip of wine. Set down his fork with precise care. "Let me help you," he said. "You needed to talk about how you've been sleeping together for at least 3 months. About the money Rhea's been giving you, $8,300 to be exact. About how to keep lying to me." Rhea's face went white. "How did you? I'm a doctor. I pay attention to details." "We weren't. It wasn't like that." Asher leaned forward. "It was confusing. We didn't plan it. It just happened. Things don't just happen. You make choices." "Landon, please." Rhea's voice cracked. Can we talk about this like adults? We are talking." "No. You're being cold and making us feel like shit." "Oh." Landon stood up. "You feel bad. I apologize. I should be more considerate of your feelings." He walked into the living room, picked up his laptop. "What are you doing?" Rhea asked. Landon opened the laptop. The screen lit up, mirrored on the TV behind him. A pause video, the thumbnail showing a motel room bed. Rhea gasped. Asher's chair scraped back. "Wait," Asher said. "How did you get that?" "Your phone synced to Rhea's tablet." Landon kept his voice level, conversational. "Did you know that? iCloud backup. Very convenient feature." "You can't." Rhea stood up. "That's private." "Is it?" "You recorded yourself. In a motel room. With my brother." He turned to face them fully. "Do you want to finish your story? Or should we watch how it really happened?" "Don't." Rhea's hands were shaking. "Landon, don't do this." Asher moved toward him. "Give me the laptop." "Sit down." "Give me the goddamn sit down." Landon didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. Something in his tone, in his absolute stillness, made Asher stop mid-step. They Saturday Landon placed the laptop on the coffee table, screen still visible. "I've watched this 17 times. Do you know what I learned?" Neither answered. "I learned that my wife sounds different when she's with him. Her laugh is different. Freer." He looked at Rhea. "You never laugh like that with me." Not once in 7 years. That's not fair, she whispered. I learned that my brother is a liar. He turned to Asher. You borrowed $500 in February. Said it was for car repairs. The timestamp on the video that week? You and Rhea at a restaurant. Expensive one. You used my money to take her on a date. Asher's jaw worked, but no sound came out. I learned that you planned this. Multiple times. Different motels. Hotels once. The Heathman downtown, very nice. You had a routine. Landon sat down on the couch, facing them. So don't tell me it just happened. Don't insult me with that. Rhea was crying now, silent tears tracking through her makeup. What do you want? You want me to say I'm a terrible person? Fine. I'm terrible. I ruined everything. Is that what you need to hear? No. Then what? I need you to understand something. Landon leaned forward. For a month, I've known. Every day, I came to work, saved lives, came home to this empty house. And I knew. While you were at your sister's, playing the victim, I knew. While Asher was calling me, begging for forgiveness, I knew. We were going to tell you, Asher said weakly. We just didn't know how. You were never going to tell me. You were going to keep going until I caught you, or until you got bored, or until one of you developed a conscience. He paused. None of those things were happening anytime soon. So what now? Rhea wiped her face. You divorce me? You cut us out of your life? Fine. Do it. I deserve it. Oh, that's coming. But first, I want to show you something. Landon opened his email on the laptop, pulled up a draft message, turned the screen toward them. This email has 17 attachments. Photos, videos, bank statements, timeline documentation, everything. Rhea's eyes widened as she read. No, the recipients are interesting. Your boss, Asher's business partners, your mother, my parents, the hospital board, because having an affair with a patient relative is an ethics violation, and you met Asher through me. So, technically, he trailed off. You see where I'm going? You can't send that. Rhea stood up. Landon, you can't. It'll ruin me. Yes, he agreed. It will. Please. She moved closer, her voice breaking. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll do anything. We can go to counseling. I'll quit my job. I'll never talk to Asher again. Just please don't send that email. Landon looked up at her. Why not? Because I made a mistake. One mistake. It wasn't one mistake. It was hundreds. Every lie. Every text. Every time you smiled at me knowing what you'd done. I love you, she said desperately. I know I have a terrible way of showing it, but I do. I love you. No. Landon closed the laptop. You love what I provided. Stability. Security. A nice house. Someone who didn't ask too many questions. He stood up. But you don't love me. You never did. Asher finally found his voice. What about me? You're my brother. I had a brother. He died the night you hit record on that video. Come on, man. You're really going to throw away our whole family over this. Landon walked to the front door and opened it. Get out. Landon, get out of my house. They left. Rhea was still crying. Asher was pleading right up until the door closed between them. Landon locked it. Returned to the dining room. His food was cold now, but he sat down and finished it anyway, chewing mechanically, washing it down with the expensive wine. When his plate was empty, he opened his laptop again, stared at the draft email for a long moment. Then he clicked send. The email went out at 9:47 p.m. on Saturday. By Monday morning, Landon's phone had 63 missed calls. He ignored all of them except one. Myra's. My office. Now, she said, and hung up. Landon finished his coffee, got dressed, and drove to the hospital. It was his day off, but he'd expected this. Myra's office door was open. She sat behind her desk, her expression carved from stone. Sit. He's Saturday. She turned her computer monitor toward him. An email was open. His email, with all 17 attachments. Want to explain this? No. Landon, you sent explicit videos and personal financial information to 20 people, including hospital board members. 18 people. I was careful about the count. This is not funny. I'm not laughing. Myra closed her eyes briefly. Do you understand what you've done? Yes. There are going to be consequences. For you, not just for them. I accept that. Do you? She leaned forward. Because from where I'm sitting, you just nuked your own life along with theirs. Rhea's employer called me this morning. They're considering filing harassment charges against you. Good luck with that. Everything I sent was documented fact. It was still private information. You could be sued. Let them sue. Jesus Christ. Myra rubbed her temples. What happened to you? The Landon I know wouldn't do this. The Landon you knew died a month ago. He met her eyes. This is who I am now. Someone who sends revenge porn. It's not revenge porn. No one was naked. It was documentation of infidelity and financial fraud. He kept his voice even. And it worked. Worked how? Ria was suspended from her job this morning, pending ethics review. Myra stared at him. How do you know that? I called her office. You called her. She cut herself off. Landon, this is becoming obsessive. No, it's becoming finished. Is it? Because it looks like you're just getting started. He said nothing. She sighed. The board wants to see you tomorrow. 10 a.m. Don't be late. Anything else? Yes. Whatever you're planning next. Don't. Landon stood. I'll see you tomorrow, Myra. Outside the office, he checked his phone. More missed calls. A voicemail from his mother. He deleted it without listening. 3 texts from Asher's girlfriend. What the hell did you send him? He won't stop crying, Yuri, a monster. A different text from a number he didn't recognize. This is Amanda Reeves from Grant and Associates. I represent Ria Pierce. We need to discuss your actions immediately. Landon typed back, I don't recognize your client's last name. Perhaps you meant Ria Williams? She'll need to update her records that he'd started divorce proceedings that morning before the email even sent. Papers were filed. Process servers were on standby. Another text came through. This one from Nadia. Where are you? He called her. Coffee shop across from the hospital, she said. Get over here. She was waiting in a corner booth, 2 cups already on the table. I heard about the email, she said as he sat down. Word travels fast. You sent it to half the hospital board. What did you expect? She pushed one of the cups toward him. Talk to me. About what? About why you're burning down your life. I'm not burning anything. I'm controlling the fire. Landon. She reached across the table, her hand hovering near his. This isn't you. You're not vindictive. You're not cruel. How do you know what I am? Because I've worked with you for 3 years. I've seen you with patience. I've seen you save people who didn't deserve saving and treat them with respect anyway. That's different. How? They didn't betray me. Nadia pulled her hand back. What happened to them was horrible. But what you're doing now, it's worse. You think I should forgive them? No. I think you should let it go. Move on. File for divorce. Cut them out. Rebuild your life. I am rebuilding. He took a sip of coffee. Just not the way you want me to. You're destroying people. They destroyed themselves. I'm just making sure everyone sees it. And when there's nothing left to destroy, what then? Then I live better than they ever will. Nadia looked at him for a long moment. You're scaring me. Good. He stood up. Fear means you're paying attention. He left the coffee shop and drove to Asher's apartment building. Parked across the street, same spot as before, at 8:02 p.m., Asher emerged, carrying 2 large boxes. His girlfriend, ex-girlfriend now, apparently, stood in the doorway, arms crossed. Landon couldn't hear what they were saying, but he could see Asher's shoulders slump. The boxes went into a beat-up Honda. Another trip, more boxes, being evicted probably, or leaving by choice. Either way, his brother's life was coming apart. Landon watched until Asher drove away, then started his car and went home. The next morning, he put on his best suit and arrived at the hospital boardroom at 9:55 a.m. 6 people sat around the conference table. Myra, 3 board members he recognized, a woman from HR, a man in a suit who introduced himself as the hospital's attorney. Dr. Pierce, the attorney began. We need to discuss your recent actions. I understand. You sent explicit materials to hospital staff and board members. This violates our code of conduct. The materials documented unethical behavior by a hospital employee. That's not your determination to make. Then whose is it? The attorney's jaw tightened. We've received a formal complaint from Mrs. Pierce, Ms. Williams. Excuse me, her maiden name is Williams. We're divorcing. She no longer has legal claim to my name. One of the board members cleared her throat. Dr. Pierce, regardless of the personal details, you used hospital email to distribute sensitive materials. I used my personal email to hospital staff. to people who had a right to know about ethical violations. Landon kept his hands folded on the table. Ria Williams met my brother through me. I introduced them at a hospital function. Their relationship began while she was receiving benefits as my spouse through hospital insurance. That creates an ethical conflict. The room went silent. You're saying, the attorney said slowly, that you sent this information in the interest of hospital ethics. I'm saying I documented facts. What you do with those facts is your decision. Myra leaned back in her chair, her expression unreadable. The board members exchanged glances. Whispered conversation. The attorney made notes. Finally, the lead board member spoke. Dr. Pierce, we're going to table this discussion pending further review. But I want to be clear. If we determine your actions were harassment rather than whistleblowing, there will be consequences. I understand. You're suspended with pay pending the investigation. 2 weeks minimum. Understood. That's all. Landon stood, nodded to each person, and walked out. In the parking lot, his phone rang. Officer Renner. Dr. Pierce? We need you to come to the station. Why? Your wife filed a harassment report. We need to take your statement. When? Today, if possible. I'll be there in an hour. The police station was cold and fluorescent bright. Renner met him in the lobby and led him to an interview room. Coffee? Renner asked. No, thank you. They sat across from each other, a recorder on the table between them. Your wife claims you've been stalking her. Incorrect. She says you've been calling her workplace, following her, sending threatening materials. I called her workplace once to confirm her employment status. I haven't followed her anywhere, and nothing I sent was threatening. She says the videos and photos constitute revenge porn. They constitute evidence of adultery, which is relevant to our divorce proceedings. You sent them to her employer. I sent them to people who had professional or personal relationships with her and deserved to know her character. Renner studied him. You know how this sounds, right? Like someone protecting their interests. Like someone obsessed. Observation isn't obsession, officer. What about your brother? He filed a report too. Says you're harassing his associates. I notified his business partners that he's financially unstable and has a history of poor judgment. They chose to sever their contracts. That's not harassment. That's market forces. You're making it impossible for him to work. No, his choices made it impossible for him to work. I just made sure people knew about those choices before entering business with him. Renner turned off the recorder. Off the record? Landon nodded. What you're doing, legally, it's mostly clean. But it's not right. Neither was what they did. So you got to ruin them. I'm going to make sure they face consequences for their actions. At what cost? Whatever it takes. Renner shook his head. I've seen this before. People who can't let go. It doesn't end well. This isn't about letting go. This is about justice. Justice is the court's job. The courts handle legal matters. This is personal. And when it's over, when they've lost everything, what then? Landon stood. Then they'll know how I felt when I found that video. He left the station. More missed calls on his phone. His mother, his father, Ria's lawyer. He ignored all of them to AT home. He opened his laptop and checked the accounts he'd been monitoring that Ria's LinkedIn showed. She'd updated her status to seeking new opportunities. Asher's Facebook page was gone, deleted entirely. Good. An email came through from Ria's lawyer. Mr. Pierce, your actions are complicating divorce proceedings. We request you cease all contact with my client and remove all distributed materials immediately. Landon typed back. The materials are a matter of public record as they relate to divorce proceedings. I will not remove them. Regarding contact, I have initiated no contact. Your client is free to cease contacting me at any time. Send. Another email, this one from Asher. Please stop. I'm begging you. I lost my job. Jennifer left. I can't pay my rent. You've made your point. Landon read it twice, then moved it to a folder labeled documentation without responding. His phone rang. His mother. Against his better judgment, he answered. Landon. Her voice was tight. What have you done? What did they tell you I did? I saw the email. We all saw it. How could you send something like that? How could they do something like that? They made a mistake. People make mistakes, and people face consequences. You're destroying your family. They destroyed it first. I'm just making sure everyone knows who swung the hammer. This isn't you. This isn't the son I raised. Maybe you didn't know your son as well as you thought. Landon, Mom. They lied. For months. They took money from me, used it to fund their affair, and almost died together in a motel room. And you're upset with me for telling the truth. I'm upset because you're being cruel. No, I'm being honest. There's a difference. She was quiet for a moment. Your father wants to talk to you. Tell him I'm busy. Landon. He hung up. The phone rang again immediately. He powered it off in the silence of his house. Landon made dinner for one. Ate it slowly. Cleaned the kitchen. Sat in the living room with a book he didn't read at 18 midnight. He opened his laptop and checked one more time. Rhea had posted on social media for the first time in a month. Sometimes the hardest battles are the ones with people who were supposed to love you. Landon read it. Then he opened the divorce filing documents and reviewed them. Everything was in order. The process server would deliver them tomorrow. He closed the laptop and went to bed. Sleep came easily. For the first time in weeks. 3 weeks later, Rhea showed up at the house. Landon saw her through the front window, standing on the porch, her finger hovering over the doorbell. She pressed it once, waited, pressed it again. He considered not answering. But that would only delay the inevitable. He opened the door. She looked terrible. Her hair hung limp and unwashed. Dark circles under her eyes that no makeup could hide. She wore sweatpants and an oversized jacket, nothing like the carefully curated outfit she used to wear. What do you want? He asked. To talk. We're past talking. Please. Her voice cracked. Just 5 minutes. He stepped aside. She came in slowly, looking around like she'd never seen the place before. You rearranged the furniture. You don't live here anymore. I can do what I want. Right. She wrapped her arms around herself. Can I sit? No. She flinched. Okay. I'll stand. She took a breath. I came to ask you to stop. Stop what? You know what? The emails. The calls to my work. Telling everyone what happened. I sent one email weeks ago, and I called your work once. You called my boss 3 times, confirming employment status for the divorce. That's legal. You're trying to get me fired. No. You did that yourself when you violated ethics policies. I didn't violate anything. You were sleeping with a family member of a medical professional who works at the hospital where you receive benefits. That's a conflict of interest at minimum. That's a technicality. Technicalities matter. She stared at him. You're really not going to stop. There's nothing to stop. I documented facts. That's all. Facts. She laughed, but it came out broken. You sent videos of me to my mother. My boss. People I work with. Yes. Do you know what that did to me? Do you know what you did to me? It was a mistake. Stop calling it that. Landon's voice stayed level. A mistake is sending an email to the wrong person. A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. What you did was a choice. Dozens of choices. Every time you lied, every time you met him, every time you took my money to fund it. Those were choices. I was confused. My marriage wasn't working. I felt trapped. Then you should have said something. Filed for divorce. Left. Anything except what you did. I know. Tears started down her face. I know, okay? I was wrong. I was selfish and stupid and wrong. But this, she gestured around. This is worse. How? You're destroying my life. No. I'm letting everyone see who you really are. There's a difference. Same result. She wiped her face. I lost my job, Landon. They fired me. My career is over. Suspended, not fired. Last I checked. Same thing. No one's going to hire me after this. You made sure of that. I made sure people knew the truth. What they did with that information was their choice. Stop acting like you're some righteous hero. You're being cruel. Cruel would be lying about what happened. Cruel would be letting you keep pretending you're the victim. I am a victim. You humiliated me. You humiliated yourself. Landon moved to the door, opened it. We're done here. No. She didn't move. No, we're not done. You owe me an explanation. For what? For why you're doing this. Why you can't just divorce me and move on like a normal person. Because this isn't about divorce. This is about accountability. It's about revenge. Call it whatever you want. What about forgiveness? What about being the bigger person? Being the bigger person is what got me here. I was the bigger person for 7 years. I worked long shifts so you could have nice things. I trusted you. I believed you. And you repaid that by sleeping with my brother. He kept his hand on the door. So no, I'm done being the bigger person. You think this makes you strong? Her voice rose. You think destroying me and Asher makes you powerful? I think letting you get away with it would have made me weak. What you're doing is sick. What you did was sick. I'm just making sure everyone knows it. She moved closer, her voice dropping to something desperate. What do you want? You want me to beg? Fine. I'm begging. Please stop. I'll do anything. There's nothing you can do. I can leave town. I'll move away. You'll never see me again. Eventually, you'll have to leave anyway. No job, no support system. It's just a matter of time. Is that what you want? You want me to disappear? I want you to understand what you did. And based on this conversation, you still don't. I understand. I hurt you. I betrayed you. I'm a terrible person. Is that what you need to hear? I don't need to hear anything from you. He gestured to the door. Leave. Landon, leave my house. Please now. She stood there for another moment, tears streaming, hands shaking. Then she grabbed the envelope from her pocket, the divorce papers He'd had served 2 weeks ago, and threw them at him. You want to sign these? Fine. But you need to know something first. What? You've already destroyed your family. Your parents won't talk to you. Your brother is falling apart. Everyone thinks you're a monster. She stepped closer. When this is over, when we're divorced and I'm gone, you're going to be alone. And you'll realize that being right doesn't keep you warm at night. I'd rather be alone than be a liar. Then congratulations. You got what you wanted. She pushed past him and out the door. Landon closed it behind her, locked it, picked up the scattered divorce papers from the floor. Everything was in order. Just needed signatures. He set them on the kitchen counter, made coffee, and went back to reading. Asher called at 2 a.m. on a Thursday that Landon's phone lit up on a nightstand, vibrating against the wood. He kept it on, a habit from years of being on call. He looked at the screen. Asher's name. After 10 seconds, it went to voicemail. 30 seconds later, another call. This time, Landon answered. What? Landon. Asher's voice was slurred, thick. I need to talk to you. You're drunk. Yeah, I'm drunk. You would be too if your life fell apart. Goodbye, Asher. Wait. Please. Don't hang up. Landon waited. I'm sorry, Asher said. I'm so sorry, man. I know I keep saying it, but I mean it. I fucked up. I fucked up so bad. Yes, you did. I miss my brother. Your brother's gone. No, he's not. You're still there. You're angry. And I get it. I deserve it. You do. So what do I gotta do? Huh? What do I gotta do to fix this? Nothing. There's no fixing this. Come on, Landon. There's gotta be something. I'll do anything. You keep saying that. But you don't mean it. I do. No. You mean you'll do anything to make yourself feel better. To ease your guilt. That's not the same thing. Asher was quiet for a moment. In the background, Landon heard traffic. Street noise. His brother was outside somewhere, drunk and calling at 2 a.m. Where are you? Landon asked. Does it matter? No, I'm at a bar. Was at a bar. They kicked me out. A laugh, bitter. Can't even get drunk properly anymore. No money. No job. No place to stay. Jennifer left you. Yeah. Saw your emails. Said she couldn't be with someone like me. Funny, right? She knew about Rhea. She forgave me for that. But once everyone else knew, once it was public, then it was a problem. Sounds like she had standards. Sounds like you ruined my life. No. I documented how you ruined it yourself. Same fucking difference, Landon. Language. Oh, fuck off. Don't act like dad. You lost that right. I lost it. You slept with my wife. And you made sure I'd pay for it forever. Asher's voice broke. You could have just divorced her. Cut me out. Moved on. But no. You had to destroy everything. My job. My relationship. My reputation. Everything. Good. Good? You think this is good? I think it's appropriate. You're sick. You know that. What you're doing, it's not justice. It's revenge. Call it whatever helps you sleep at night. I don't sleep, Landon. I haven't slept in weeks. Every time I close my eyes, I see your face when we walked into the hospital. Like you already knew. Like you'd already decided we deserved to die. You didn't deserve to die. You deserve to live and face what you did. Well, congratulations. I'm facing it. I'm drowning in it. Happy now. Not particularly. Then what do you want from me? Nothing. You're already gone. What's that supposed to mean? It means you're not my brother anymore. You're just someone I used to know. That's bullshit. I'm still your brother. Blood doesn't change. Blood is just biology. Family is choice. And I choose not to have you in my life. You can't just erase me. Watch me. Landon, please. I'm begging you. I don't have anyone else. That's not my problem. It is. You made it your problem when you decided to destroy me. I didn't destroy you. I exposed you. There's a difference. The fuck there is. Asher's breathing was heavy, ragged. You want to know something? Rhea and I talked about this. About what would happen if you found out. I'm sure you did. She thought you'd cry. Get angry. Maybe throw things. But she said you'd forgive her eventually. That's the kind of person you were. Forgiving. Was. Yeah, was. Because this person, the one who's systematically ruining our lives, I don't know him. Good. He's an improvement. He's a monster. If that's what it takes. Asher laughed again, this time tinged with something close to hysteria. You win, man. You fucking win, okay? I'm broken. Rhea's broken. Our family's broken. Everyone hates us. You did it. You got your revenge. This isn't about winning. Then what is it about? Truth. Truth. Asher spat the word. You're hiding behind that word like it makes you righteous. But truth without mercy is just cruelty. And lies with mercy are still lies. You know what? I hope it was worth it. I hope when you're old and alone, you look back on this and feel proud. I will. No, you won't. You'll realize you threw away your family for pride. My family threw away itself for selfishness. I loved her, Landon. The words hung in the air. What? Landon said quietly. Rhea, I loved her. It wasn't just sex or whatever you think. I actually loved her. That makes it worse. How? Because if you loved her, you should have walked away. Should have told me. Should have done anything except what you did. I tried to walk away. Multiple times. But she kept coming back. And I was weak. I was so fucking weak. Yes, you were. And now I have nothing. No job. No girlfriend. No brother. No money. Nothing. You have your choices. Live with them. What if I can't? Something in Asher's voice changed. A flatness that made Landon sit up. What does that mean? Landon asked. Nothing. Forget it. Asher, you don't get to care now. You made it clear I'm nothing to you. If you're thinking about hurting yourself, oh, now you're worried? Now you give a shit. Call someone. A crisis line. Go to an ER. Like your ER, where everyone knows what I did. Where they'll whisper and stare. Go to a different hospital. Just go somewhere. Why? So I can live another day in this nightmare you created? I didn't create anything. You did this. We both know that's not true. Asher's voice was fading, tired. But sure, keep telling yourself that. Maybe it'll help you sleep. Asher, listen to me. Goodbye, Landon. The line went dead. Landon stared at his phone. Called back immediately. Voicemail that he tried again. Again. Again on the fifth try, he got up and got dressed. Grabbed his keys. Drove to Asher's last known address. The apartment he'd been evicted from. The building was dark. No answer when he knocked on what used to be Asher's door. Landon called Jennifer, Asher's ex. She answered on the third ring, her voice groggy. What? Where's Asher? How should I know? He just called me. He sounded off. Off how? Suicidal. Jesus. She was quiet for a moment. Try the underpass on Morrison. He was sleeping there last week. He's homeless. Yeah, Landon. He's homeless. You got him evicted, remember? I didn't, he stopped. Which underpass? Near the bridge. I don't know exactly. I just saw him there once. Landon hung up and drove. He found Asher 40 minutes later, sitting against a concrete pillar under the Morrison Bridge. A sleeping bag, a backpack, a bottle, and a paper bag beside him. Landon parked and walked over. Asher looked up. What are you doing here? Making sure you're alive. Why? Because despite everything, I'm not a murderer. You sure about that? Asher took a drink from the bottle. Feels like you've been trying to kill me for weeks. That's dramatic. Is it? He gestured around. This is my life now. Because of you. Because of your choices. Right? My choices. Asher leaned his head back against the concrete. Go home, Landon. You don't need to be here. Are you planning to hurt yourself? What if I am? Then I'll call someone. Who? The police? They'll drag me to a hospital, pump me full of drugs, keep me for 72 hours, then dump me back here. What's the point? The point is staying alive. For what? To suffer more? To give you more satisfaction. I don't want you dead. You just want me miserable. I want you to understand what you did was wrong. Asher looked at him. I understand. Trust me. I fucking understand. You've made that crystal clear. Good. Is it? Because I don't feel better. You don't look better. All this, he waved vaguely. All this destruction. What did it accomplish? Justice. No. Revenge. And the thing about revenge? It doesn't fix anything. It just spreads the pain around. Better than keeping it all myself. Asher smiled, sad and bitter. You really believe that? I do. Then you're more broken than I am. Landon said nothing. They sat there for a while, not talking. Cars passed overhead, tires humming on wet pavement. Somewhere nearby, a siren wailed. I'm not going to kill myself, Asher said finally. If that's why you're here. I'm too much of a coward. That's not cowardice. Sure feels like it. He took another drink. I'll survive. Probably. Find some shit job. Some shit apartment eventually. Build some shit life. Won't matter. It'll always be shit now. Sound about right. You're not going to try to talk me out of feeling sorry for myself. No. You earned it. At least you're consistent. Asher closed his eyes. Go home, Landon. There's nothing for you here. Landon stood. If you change your mind, I won't. If you do, there's a crisis number. I'll text it to you. I blocked your number. I'll email it. Block that too. Landon pulled out his wallet. Took out 2 20s. Set them on the backpack. I don't want your money, Asher said. Take it anyway. Fuck you. Take it, or I'll make sure the shelter knows where to find you. Asher opened his eyes. You really can't help yourself, can you? Even now, you need control. I need to know you're not going to die under a bridge. Why? So you don't have to feel guilty. So I don't have to explain to Mom why I let it happen. Oh, now you care about Mom's feelings. Landon turned to leave. Hey, Asher called. You ever going to forgive me? Landon looked back. No. Then what now? Now you live with what you did. And I live with what I know. That's it. That's your plan. That's reality. Reality sucks. Yeah, Landon agreed. It does. He walked back to his car. Drove home. Sent the crisis line number to Asher's email anyway. Then he deleted Asher's contact from his phone entirely. 6 months after the hospital call, Landon Pierce walked into his new office, Chief of Emergency Medicine. The title was printed on a nameplate outside the door, black letters on brushed steel. Dr. Landon Pierce, Chief of Emergency Medicine. The office was bigger than his old one. Windows overlooking the city. Wooden desk instead of metal. A bookshelf waiting to be filled. He set down his briefcase and looked around. Myra had fought for his promotion. Said he was the best qualified, despite the controversy. The board had debated for weeks before voting in his favor. It helps that Rhea withdrew all complaints, Myra had told him. Made you look less vindictive. Rhea had left Portland 3 months ago. Moved to Seattle or San Francisco. He wasn't sure which. She'd signed the divorce papers without a fight. Her lawyer sent them back with a note. My client wishes to put this matter behind her. Good riddance. Asher had disappeared too. Last Landon heard, his brother was working construction in Idaho or Montana. Somewhere far away. Their parents had stopped calling after the 2nd month. His mother sent a birthday card, just a card, no note inside. His father sent nothing. Landon had accepted that. Family wasn't blood. Family was choice. And they'd all made their choices. A knock on the door. Nadia stood in the doorway, holding 2 cups of coffee. Thought you might need this. She came in and set one on his desk. Big day. Just another day. Sure. If every day involves becoming the boss of the entire ER. She sat in one of the chairs facing his desk. How does it feel? Like work. You're allowed to be happy about this, you know. I'm not unhappy. She studied him over her coffee. You look different. I got a haircut. That's not what I mean. She paused. You look settled. Like you're finally okay. I am okay. Are you though? Because 6 months ago, you were systematically destroying 2 people's lives. Now you're here like none of it happened. It happened. I dealt with it. Life continues. That's it. You dealt with it. What else is there? Nadia set down her cup. Landon, I'm going to ask you something. And I want an honest answer. Okay, do you regret any of it? He considered the question. No, not even a little. They made choices. I made choices. Everyone got what they deserved. Including you, especially me. So you don't feel guilty about Asher being homeless? Rhea losing her career? They chose their actions. I just made sure those actions had consequences. That's not an answer. It's the only answer I have. Nadia leaned back. You scare me sometimes. You've said that before. I mean it more now. She stood. But for what it's worth, you'll be a good chief. Just try to remember you're working with people, not problems to solve. I'll keep that in mind. After she left, Landon unpacked his briefcase, set up his computer, arranged pens in the desk drawer. His phone buzzed. A text from the hospital group chat. Welcome, Chief Pierce. Several replies followed. Congratulations. Emojis. Someone started planning drinks for Friday. Landon typed back. Thanks, everyone. Looking forward to working with you all. Professional. Appropriate. Nothing more. He opened his email. 50 messages waiting, most marked urgent. Budget reviews. Scheduling conflicts. A complaint about insufficient staffing that he started working through them methodically, one at a time. Around noon, his mother called. Landon stared at the screen for a long moment, then answered. Hello, Landon. Her voice was careful. I heard about your promotion. News travels. I wanted to say congratulations. Thank you. How are you? Busy. First day in the new role. Of course. I won't keep you. She paused. I also wanted to ask, have you heard from Asher? No. Oh, I thought maybe. He's your brother. I thought he might have reached out. He hasn't. If he does, Mom. Landon kept his voice even. If Asher contacts me, I won't respond. You should know that. Landon, he's struggling. He's your brother. He was my brother. Not anymore. You can't just erase family. Yes, I can. I did. She was quiet. Then, I don't know you anymore. That's okay. I don't know me anymore either. That's not something to be proud of. I'm not proud or ashamed. I just am. What happened to you? The son I raised would never. The son you raised was naive. He trusted people, believed in second chances, forgave things he shouldn't have. Landon looked out the window at the city below. He learned better. This isn't better. This is bitter. Maybe. But it's honest. Being honest doesn't mean being cruel. I wasn't cruel. I was fair. Fair would have been letting them apologize and moving on. Fair is making sure people face the consequences of betrayal. At the cost of your own soul. My soul is fine, Mom. It's just not as soft as it used to be. She sighed. I hope you find peace, Landon. I really do. I already have. No, you have control. That's not the same thing. It's close enough. I'll pray for you. You do that. I love you. Even when I don't understand you. I know. She hung up. Landon set the phone down and went back to work. That evening, he left the hospital at 7 p.m. Drove home through rush hour traffic. Made dinner, chicken, rice, vegetables. Ate while reading a medical journal. Afterward, he stood in his living room, looking at the space where the couch used to be. He'd replaced all the furniture. New couch, new chairs, new coffee table. Nothing that Rhea had touched. The house felt different now. Cleaner. Is that he poured a glass of wine. Not the expensive kind Rhea liked, just something decent, and sat by the window. Outside, the city lights spread across the darkness like stars. People moving through their lives. Working, eating, loving, betraying, surviving. Landon raised his glass in a silent toast to honesty. To consequences. To living better than they ever would. He'd won. Not happiness. Not peace. But something more lasting. Vindication. And if that came with loneliness? With estranged family and cautious colleagues and nights spent alone in a house he'd stripped of memories, that was fine. Because he'd survived. And more than that, he'd made sure they understood that betraying him came with a price fair. Reasonable. Just, Landon finished his wine, rinsed the glass, and went to bed. Tomorrow he'd go back to work. Save lives. Make decisions. Led his department with the same methodical precision he'd used to dismantle his old life. And if late at night he sometimes thought about what might have been if he'd chosen forgiveness over justice. Well, those thoughts never lasted long. Because Landon Pierce didn't believe in second chances anymore, that he believed in consequences, and he lived by that belief every single day.